Hi, Chris Smith here from Storytelling Schools. Today I want to tell you a story called The Noisy House, which is a lovely little story that I heard maybe 20 years ago from a very fine storyteller called Megan. And now I'm going to tell it to you, and it goes like this. Once upon a time, not twice upon a time, not thrice upon a time, but just once upon a time, there was a girl, and her name was Jackie. And Jackie lived in a house in the hills. And one day she was sitting in her house, and she said, my house is too noisy. The door goes creak, and the tap goes drip, 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 and the wind goes woo through the holes in the windows. I don't like it. I'm going to go down to the town. The housing man will tell me what to do. And so she went out of her home and down the hill and up the hill and down the hill and up until she came to the housing office. She went inside, and there's the housing man sitting at the desk, stroking his beard. She says, my house is too noisy. The door goes creak, the tap goes drip, drip, and the wind goes woo through the holes in the windows. What shall I do? And the housing man, he stroked his beard. He said, I'll tell you what to do. Get a chicken and come back and see me in a week. She says, what? He said, you heard. Okay, she said. She went to the shop, she bought the chicken, she took the chicken home, and then she sat in her house with the chicken. And she listened to the chicken going, book, 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 book. And she thought, my house is even more noisy now. Not only does the door go creak and the tap go drip, drip, and the wind go woo through the holes of the windows, but the chicken goes book, book, book. That's no good. So she put up with it for a week, and then she went back to the housing office, down the hill and up the hill and down the hill and up. She went in, she said, excuse me, but my house is even more noisy. Now the door goes creak, the tap goes drip, drip, the wind goes woo through the holes in the windows, then the chicken goes book, 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 book. What shall I do? It's too noisy. Said the housing man and stroked his beard. Why don't you get a cat and come back and see me in a week? Really? She said. Yeah, really. Okay. So she bought a cat and she went back up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down and up again. And then she went in the house with the cat and sat there and she listened to the sound of the chicken going book, 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 and the cat going meow and chasing the chicken all around the house. So it was getting louder and louder and louder. She thought, this is no good. It's even more noisy. What shall I do? And she waited a week, and then she went back down the hill and up the hill and down the hill and up to the housing office. She said, my noise, she didn't say that. She said, my house is too noisy. The door goes creak, the tap goes drip, the wind goes woo, the chicken goes book, book, and the cat goes meow. What shall I do? He said, get a dog. What? She said, really? Yeah, I said, get a dog. Do what you're told. It'll be all right in the end. Okay, she said. So she bought a dog and she went home. And you know what? The house got even more noisy. Not only did the door go creak and the tap go drip and the wind go woo and the chicken go book and the cat go meow, but the dog went woof, woof, woof all the time, chasing the cat around the house. And Jackie, my house is terrible. It's so noisy. I can't think straight. I don't like it. It's too much. I can't sleep at all. A week later, she goes back down the hill, up the hill and down the hill and up, back to the housing office. She says, it's all getting worse. You're really not helping. It's just noisy now. The door goes creak, the tap goes drip, the wind goes woo, the chicken goes book, the cat goes meow, and the dog goes woof. Really, he says, well, why don't you get a cow and come back and see me in a week? What? She said, a cow? Are you serious? Yeah, I'm serious. Do what you're told. It'll be all right in the end. Okay, she said. So she buys a cow and she goes down the hill and up the hill and up the hill and down and up and again until she gets home, and she brings the cow inside. And now, not only is there the sound of the book book and the meow and the woof woof, but there's a moo everywhere as the cow chases the dog around the house. And not only that, but oh God, that cow makes a mess everywhere. The house is a mess. It's noisy. It's smelly. Oh, Jackie is not happy. She can't wait a week. She marches back the next day. She says, look, You told me you could fix it, but you haven't. It's too noisy there. Not only does the door go creak and the tap go drip and the wind go woo and the chicken go book and the cat go meow and the dog go woof, but now I've got a great big cow going moo all the time. It's too noisy. Ah, he said, I see. Well, why don't you get rid of the animals and come and see me in a week? Really? She said. Yeah, he said, try it. It'll work. And so Jackie goes home, up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down and up. And she gets all the animals and takes them back to the shop where she bought them and leaves them there, and she goes back home. And then she sits in her house and she listens to the sound of the door going creak, and the sound of the drip, drip, drip of the tap, and the sound of the woo as the wind goes through the windows. And she thinks, peace. My house is so peaceful. Thank you, Mr. Housing Man. You were right. And that is the end of that story. What do you think about that? What can we learn from that? What can we do with that story of the noisy house? Well, let's see. Here's our list of 8 things you can do with a story. You can learn to tell it. If you want to tell that story, you might want to draw a little story map. Here, maybe I've got one here for you. Yep. So that's just to remind us what happened. So once upon a time there was a girl called Jackie, and she lived in a house at the top of the hill where the door went creak and the tap went drip and the wind went woo through the holes in the windows. So she goes down to the housing office. He says, get a chicken. And then she goes back. And next then she says, get a cat, then get a dog, then get a cow. And then he says, get rid of the animals, and she's happy because it's peaceful, because all she's got to listen to is the creaking and the dripping and the whooshing of the wind. So that's the story. You can do that with a map. You can also help remember it by stepping the story, making physical movements to help you remember. Let me have a go at that now. So what are we doing? Once upon a time, let's see if I can do. So the first step is, my house is too noisy. Get a chicken. Book, book, book. My house is still too noisy. So get a cow. Meow. Then get a dog. Woof. Then get a cow. Moo. Then get rid of them all. Finally, just the creaking and the dripping and the whoosh of the wind. Thank you, Housing Man. Something like that. Movements to help you remember, walking through the story, reminding yourself of what happens before you have a go at telling it. So that's the storytelling bit. It's a good thing to do together. You can almost sing that or chant that together. Lovely little story with lots of learning. So once you've told it and you know it, talk about it. Why? What changed that made Jackie happy at the end and sad at the beginning? What changed about her perspective? What changed about her feelings about her home? What changed about what happened when she heard that noise? There's lots to learn about that. You might want to act it out. It's kind of fun to play around with the animals and the sounds and the movements and how crazy the house got as things got noisier and noisier and noisier. You might want to do some drawings or some paintings of bits of the story or all of the story to help remember it and practice your painting. It's a kind of story that will work well as a song. You know, just get a tune and work it in and you can sing it. So let's think of a tune. Let's say The Wheels on the Bus. Let's say we use that one. So once there was a girl called Jackie, a girl called Jackie, a girl called Jackie. Once there was a girl called Jackie who lived in a noisy house. In the house the door went creak, the tap went drip and the wind went whoosh. In the house the door went creak, the tap went drip and the wind went whoosh. Jackie went down to the town, to the town, to the town. Jackie went down to the town and talked to the housing man, and so on. So I'm just remembering the story and fitting it to the tune I know it well, so that we make up a song just like that, retelling the whole thing. You can do it with poetry as well if you like that kind of work. Research here, we could look at research into all the animals. We could find out all about them so we can describe them more vividly. We could also maybe do a bit of research about how you get to be patient and happy with what you've got. Lots of things you can look at here if you want to. And then of course you can write the story, and you could also recycle it, maybe change the animals or change the problem that is being overcome. So the pattern here is, you may think it's bad, but if things get worse, maybe when you get back to where you are now, you'll feel better. So you could make up all sorts of stories about that. So there you are, there you have it. There's the noisy house, from me to you. Tell it, play with it, draw it, paint it, enjoy it, learn from it, and yeah, I'll see you again tomorrow.